Imagine everything breaking before the start of your stream. Couldn't be me. Could not be me, chat. Actually impossible. Oh, it's actually so broken. It's Jover. Hello. There I am. Hi. Look how broken I am. What the heck? I think it's the camera. Maybe I should get a new camera, chat. Here, let me do this. We're gonna unplug it again. I believe. Alright. Maybe we're fine. Heck it. Heck it. Oh no, we're definitely not fine. Wow. Alright, chat. Today, we are going to be watching some kanji videos because I have been neglecting my studies for Japanese and I know next to zero kanji. Well, I know some kanji. I read like half of the book remembering the kanji, but then I didn't use it, so then I forgot everything. Oh. Boom. Hitsuki! Look at Hitsuki, so small. So tiny. So today, we're watching some YouTube. Yeah, we're a little bit of a react streamer. I should probably start from lesson 1. Even though I've done lesson 1, I've done like the first like 6 of these. I know more of these. I should just do it from the beginning. Let's just get it started. So, chat, if you don't know, there's, does that work? Does do it this way? Boop. There's this guy. This guy is Tokeni Andy, and he does a lot of like Genki videos, and he does a lot of kanji videos. So we're gonna be learning kanji today. Or at least all like the basic like beginner level kanji we're gonna try to do today. It's like 23 lessons. And we definitely should not be doing it this way because we shouldn't be cramming this much. But I kind of just want to do it. Yeah, no. Let's just start it.
Of many in the Tokeni Andy Introduction to
Is it
Japanese
too loud?
Kanji
Let's see.
course.
Is it louder than me?
If you know nothing about kanji yet, you might want to check out the first 3 introduction
I've already
videos
watched all those
in
videos.
this
We're not watching those
series.
videos, chat.
But today, we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks,
I should really jump
writing,
lesson 6, at least.
historical evolution, and a story
Because
to
I know all
memorize
these.
each of the following kanji. And
Because this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I know all these. Yeah, we're just gonna go to 6. Or let's go to 6. We'll start from 6.
Welcome to the 6th Tokeni Andy kanji lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks,
I'm pretty sure I did 6 as well,
writing,
but
historical evolution,
heck it, we'll do it again.
and a story to memorize each of the following.
These videos are like
kanji.
12 minutes long,
also
chat.
learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji. Today, there's 3 new parts we're going to learn.
Oh,
and stick around
3 new
to
parts.
the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. So let's get into
Quiz.
our first kanji for today means king. The
King.
official radical for king is itself, king. This means it will be showing up in other kanji quite a bit. In fact, the next 2 kanji contain king as a part.
Wow.
I've broken down king into 3 parts though, due to its slightly odd stroke order. 1, staff, and 2. There are 4 strokes in
Wand,
king, while
staff,
in
and
China they
two.
write it how I would personally expect, with the top 2 lines first, the staff cutting through them, and the bottom line last. In Japan, we write it this way: top stroke, or 1 first, followed by the staff.
The
We then
staff,
write the kanji
and
2
then 2.
through the staff. This, of course, is because kings don't have to follow the rules. If you like that dad joke, don't forget to like the video. It really helps. Historically, this
Yippee.
kanji was meant to be a pictograph of a broadaxe, which represented a king's authority. Some of those historical
King.
broadaxes were pretty badass. Our story for king is: the king carries a staff endowed with 3 fluorescent worms
3 fluorescent
shining
worms.
brightly. I've combined the 1 and 2 kanji into 3
What?
for the sake of
You got
simplicity.
jokes for
If
me?
you've properly
What type of joke do you want? You get to tell one joke. Out loud, one joke. And if it's bad, you're bad. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm waiting. What's the difference between Elon Musk and I don't know what a lemur is. A lemur? What is a lemur? Oh, wait, you can see all my stuff. Leaked. I don't know. What's the difference? Isn't it like a lemur like a monkey thing? Am I crazy? Elon Musk made an electric car, but a lemur made Madagascar. Oh, it's that thing from Madagascar. Okay. Okay.
Imagine the original story for 3, with a 1 and 2
It's
combined, you should be fine.
Madagascar. I get it.
Remember that it's a
I
good
get
idea
it.
to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it, or to create a story of your own
The
that
difference
will
between
help
like
you
a gas
remember the
car and
kanji
a
even
electric car.
better. Make sure the story
Yippee!
contains the meaning and every single part
We're
in
learning
some
kanji
way.
today.
All we've done is add a drop to the
This
king
is like
kanji,
Jewel,
and
right?
now we have jewel.
Yeah.
Not the artist, the Stones. Not that band either, sorry. Well, you get what I mean. I want to mention that this also frequently means ball,
Mm-hmm.
but I chose jewel as the meaning for this series. The official radical for jewel is not king, which annoys me more than it should. We can easily break it down into kanji and drop, though. Jewel has 5 strokes, which are written
King
in
and drop.
exactly the same way as king. Why isn't king the official radical? The drop is written last. While drops on top of a kanji or on the outside of it are usually written first, when
I
the
didn't know it was
drops
written
are
last.
within the kanji or an enclosure, they're usually written last for that part. Historically, jewel hasn't changed much over the years. So for our story, we have the king has drip. Look at all those jewels on his shoes as he kicks a ball. Here I've combined the 2
The king
common
has
meanings of
drip.
this kanji, despite choosing only jewel
I
as the
see.
meaning we'll be using in future kanji that this shows up in. Now,
See.
when we throw that jewel
This is
into
country,
a box
right?
or enclosure, we get country? Quite philosophical if you think about it. As soon as you start putting things of value into boxes and trying to protect them, you have to make a country to protect the jewel in the box protecting citizens.
Well, I am writing these
Subscribe
down, by
for
the
more
way.
deep political philosophy content. The official radical for country is mouth or an enclosure box,
Yep.
which means
Mouth.
the boxes and the cordoning off of value is what makes the country, not the jewels. All right, I'll stop. The parts here are obviously mouth and jewel. Country
Mm-hmm.
has 8 strokes, making it the most stroke-heavy kanji we've learned to date. Of course,
Yippee.
if you've learned mouth and jewel well, this won't be a problem. As always, we do not close boxes or enclosures until we finish drawing what's inside of them. So we draw the 2 strokes of mouth first, followed by the jewel inside.
Yep. And a little drop. Or the drip.
We then close the box, creating our first country.
Wow.
Historically, it seems that this kanji had completely different parts drawn inside the box. Sometimes even citizens. Some of these characters are still in use and considered alternate versions of this most common
Let's drink some
country
water.
kanji. Our story for country is: the king and his jewels are entrapped or enclosed by the people of his country. He must make sure they're fed. A good king is what I probably should have said. Bringing us to our first non-kanji part, human roof.
Human roof.
The reason for this name is that technically this is the kanji person and how it appears when it's drawn as a kanmuri or crown radical.
Wow.
Officially, it is known as person's roof when it's in this position, so it's worth learning separately. It is a radical, so it doesn't have a radical, although person could be considered its part. The two
Person.
strokes in this character are the same strokes as in person, although it's sort of doing a split. Remember that the person we used for our person story will always be used when person is a part of a kanji.
Wow.
This part is no exception. So, Ando-san becomes a human roof by doing a split on top of roofless buildings. Our next part, which we'll be seeing quite a bit in other kanji, is 8 horse leg crown. This is not
horse
an
leg
official
crown.
radical, but a very common part. It's often explained that it's the same as a part we'll learn later, this one. But being the same as a later kanji or part is not helpful for us. For the purposes of differentiating them in this course, we'll be referring to this as what its pictograph looks like to me. A horse lying upside down on the ground with its legs in the air.
An
Since we've
upside
covered
down
horses
horse.
in this course as 8 horses, and the stroke order is the same as 8 horses, we go with an 8 horse leg crown, as it usually appears above other kanji. Though from time to time, these 2 dots without the bottom stroke are used within kanji and considered the same part.
Oh
which
no.
is annoying, but that's kanji. Officially, this isn't a
Monka.
kanji, so we won't be covering an official radical. Although, it's this super old character, if you're interested. We will consider itself as its only part. The strokes are exactly as you'd expect. Write each dot starting with the one on the left,
Oop.
and the horizontal
Oop.
line below it
Oop.
last. The story we'll use for this part
no.
is 8 horses lying on their backs.
Umamusume dead.
legs
Dead in the
air.
street.
Bringing us to our first actual kanji that
No.
uses the last two
It's
parts.
upside down. It's a bottom
Gold.
though.
This also often refers to money or metal in general, but the meaning we'll use is gold. The official radical will make you happy. It's just gold. But we'll break this down into human roof,
Yep. Human roof. One.
dirt,
Dirt.
and 8 horse leg crown inside a kanji this time. Writing is in exactly the order of those parts, and it has 8 strokes, tying it with country for kanji with the most strokes that we've learned so far. We write the roof, then the 1, then the 10 part of dirt, the 2 dots of 8 horse leg crown, and finally the last line in dirt, or in 8 horse leg crown, whichever you prefer.
Okay. I will surely remember all this chat.
Historically, this kanji hasn't changed much, and certainly nothing that will help us remember it more than this image. Beneath an Ando-san inspired roof, one fluorescent
Human
worm
roof.
illuminates the dirt below it. A gravestone marking the spot.
Beneath the human roof, one fluorescent worm illuminates the dirt below a gravestone, marking the spot where 2 gold horse legs stick out of the dirt.
Where 2 gold horse legs stick out of the dirt. The poor 8 horses rest here, hopefully in peace. Though with those golden legs, I imagine the grave robbers will be here soon. Bringing us to our last part. Person hiding on left.
Person
this is another
hiding
part
on
that
left.
is the same as person, but depending on where person is used as a radical, its name changes. In this case, it's person on left, as it's a hen radical, or on the left radical.
Hen
this part
radical.
often hints that the kanji it's a part of has something to do with things that people do, as parts in the hen position often impart some form of meaning onto a kanji. Being a radical, this doesn't have a radical, although it
Famioli.
is
Hi, Chin
personal,
Connect.
and it's its only part.
Happy belated
The strokes for this
birthday.
part are exactly the same as those in
We're
person,
learning
with
kanji
the
today.
left stroke first and the right second. But because it appears on the left, it's written
Basically
bit
a React
weird.
streamer.
The first stroke is written above, and the second stroke is written as a straight line coming out of the middle of the first. Our story for this part is when Ando-san is hiding next to something, we imagine him
Will this help me with my
peeking out
project?
from
Wait, what is your
behind it
project?
on the left, as
That in a straight line? Nah,
written as a straight line coming out
that's pretty straight, right?
of the middle of the first. Our story for this part is when Ando-san is hiding next to something, we
I'm
imagine
doing a
him
video essay on my jet game? What the heck? You're crazy.
peeking out from behind it on the left, as in to the left of the part that person
You do
hiding
love
on
your
left
jet
is
games.
drawn with. Kind of like this next kanji, which means rest. As in
Rest.
to take a rest. The official radical
Person
for rest
hiding
is
on the
person
left and
hiding
it's
on the
tree,
left,
right?
which gives us a hint that this kanji will have something to do with things people do. Its parts are person hiding on the left and tree. What do
Tree.
people do next to trees? Well,
They
lots of
rest.
things, but taking a rest is one of my favorites. Rest has 6 strokes. We
That's
first write
radical.
person hiding on the left,
No, this is a kanji. That's the radical.
then the tree to the right.
Wow. Also, I am writing these down, by the way.
Historically, this kanji hasn't changed much, usually
That's
involving the
rest.
relevant person kanji at the time with the relevant tree kanji at the time. Our story for rest is Ando-san's favorite place.
Do you have
to
a
take
huge
rest
brush
is
too?
behind
No, I'm writing on a whiteboard. I have a little small whiteboard and I have a blue expo marker. Ando-san's favorite place to take a rest is behind a nice big tree. We see him peeking out from behind it with a beer in hand.
a nice big tree.
Alcoholic?
We see him peeking out from behind it with a beer in hand. On the left, of course. At least Ando-san and I agree on one thing. A good resting
Wow.
place. Which brings us to the Lesson 6 quiz.
Alcoholics
In
mentioned.
this section of the video, I'll show
Ugh.
you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, text it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper.
Okay, chat, you gotta
Then
write it
press
down.
play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we
For the
taught
story.
you, or the one you made based
Wow.
on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is king.
Okay, king. That is 3 fluorescent worms with a staff. So it's 1 and then 2. Easy. You can't see my writing, but I got it right. Look at that.
Next is jewel.
Jewel is the king with drip. Could also mean ball. Wow. Look at that.
Just a few more.
Country is the mouth. That's not how you write Chenko. Oh, you thought you're the king? So country is mouth, but it's enclosed by jewel. So it is the king. The drip is last and enclosed.
Here's country.
What? Yippee! Thought I am the
Then
king.
there's
What? Nah.
gold.
Gold is human roof. 1. Then ground or soil. And then it's it's the horse legs. It's the horse legs and the last thing for the horse legs. 1 human roof. Human roof 1. It's the soil, but then it's the horse legs. Roof one fluorescent worm illuminates the dirt below a gravestone marking the spot where two gold horse legs stick out of the dirt. Look at me go.
Finally, we have rest.
And then rest was the person hiding. The person peeking out from the left of the tree is rest. Yippee!
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments. You can learn the next
I got them all
kanji
right.
by
Ando-san.
clicking here.
Or Tokini
If
Andy.
the video is already out. If you don't want to wait, you
Alright,
can
chat.
continue learning.
Next video.
Welcome to the 7th Tokini Andy kanji lesson.
Number
Today we're
7.
gonna cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution.
Chat, are you learning?
And a story to memorize each of the following
I'm learning.
kanji.
What?
Today there are no
Let's
new
see.
parts.
Let's see if I know what these are. This is I. This is like crap or money. I don't know this one. This one looks familiar. I probably should. I don't know what this one is though. I don't know what these are either. Okay, we'll figure them out.
Which is part of why this is one of the few lessons in which we'll learn
Like these
6
two look
new
familiar.
kanji instead of 5.
We're learning
By
6
the way,
today.
Stick around to the end of the
Oh
lesson, where we'll be
no.
doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. So let's get into it. Our first
Aye.
kanji for this lesson is one I quite like. It means I. Officially, the radical for I is I, but we can break it down further into a mouth enclosure and a couple of ones. There are 5 strokes in I, which follow exactly the order you'd expect.
I like
We
I.
draw the first 2
I is fun to
strokes
draw.
of mouth, although we draw it taller than normal. 2 horizontal lines, or ones, inside, west, east, then close it on the bottom. Historically, this character looked way more like an eye at
Whoa.
times. During the
That's so
Western
cool.
Zhou dynasty, it looked exactly like the eye of Revali from Zelda Breath of the Wild. If you liked Breath of the Wild, be sure to like this video, because
So
I have.
random.
For our story, I went with a different character from a different fantasy world. It's a kanji-style eye of Sauron.
I don't know
When
what
first
Sauron
learned
is.
Eye many years ago,
So
I
unlucky.
visualized it like an eye.
It's like
on
Lord of
its
the Rings,
side,
right?
but I think I like this image better. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it, or to create a story of your own that will
Whoa.
help you remember the kanji even better. Make sure the story contains the meaning and every single part in some way.
This looks like an eye though.
Bringing us to our next character, which involves an eye. Look. Of course, looking
Look?
requires an
Oh, is
eye,
this look?
so this kanji makes perfect sense. But as I'm sure you'll be thrilled to learn, the official radical of look is look, not eye. Because of course it is.
Oh.
But this is fair because look shows up in lots of other kanji. We can of course break this down into 2 distinct parts though, namely eye and person's legs. There are 7 strokes in look, and they're written exactly
Eye
as you'd expect. We
Person's
draw
legs.
the
I think I
eye
knew that
first.
actually.
And then the person's legs below
Person legs.
making sure that they're connected.
Yeah, I think I
to the
remember this
eye,
one actually.
like an eyeball walking around. Historically, the same pattern was followed. The eye kanji at that time was on top of the person's legs radical at that time. Looking at these, I'm more convinced every single day that there were aliens roaming around in ancient China. Our story for look is: to go look at something, the eye of Sauron has to put on his sexy people legs.
Sexy people
Not so scary
legs?
now, are
What
you,
the
Sauron?
heck?
Although a Sauron eye walking around on legs might be a bit terrifying to behold. Wait, didn't we learn this already? This is just a stylized version of eye, right? No, sadly.
Uh-oh.
This kanji means ear. It is, as
Ear?
you might have guessed, its own radical, but we can break it
Oh,
down
no.
into a bunch of ones and staff parts, if so inclined. We'll be thinking of this as a single part, though. There are 6 strokes for ear, compared to eye's 5 strokes. The lines extending out over each other line might give you a hint as to why that is. We start by following the first rule of writing. horizontal lines come
Yeah.
first, west to east. So we draw that first horizontal line, followed by the first vertical line, north to south. Then we draw the next 3 lines. I would have expected 2 lines and then the final vertical line and the closing bottom line. But in school, kids learn that the 3 horizontal lines come first, with the
Interesting.
final vertical line being drawn last. Historically, as seems to be a pattern for pictographic images, this kanji looked much more like an actual ear. But as time went on, it lost more and more of its character until we got this. Our story will continue with the pictographic nature of the characters we've learned so far today. The eye of Sauron doesn't have regular ears. Instead, he pops out little ear appendages from the corners of his eye. Sauron just keeps getting less and less intimidating and more like a weird bug or something. Bringing us to another character that I quite like, but that is very weird when you try to get into the details. As a kanji on its own, it means stop, but it often shows up as a radical. It is its own radical, but when it's used as a radical
Not like this.
other kanji, it has...
Hi, Noor. Hi, Noor. Hello. We're learning kanji today.
Nothing to do with the meaning stop. Instead, it means
Hello.
footprint when it's a radical in other kanji. We'll get there, I promise. We can break this kanji down further into the kanji for up and a staff. It has 4 strokes. The first 2 are written identical to up, with the vertical line first and the horizontal line, or flag, on the right written
That's probably why it looks so familiar.
Before placing the ground beneath this kanji, though, we first draw the staff on the
left.
left.
That's weird.
Which you may have noticed is a bit of a pattern. Usually the final line on the bottom of a kanji is written last. At least for the kanji we've done so far. It's a little odd to me that the left-hand staff isn't drawn first, but it is what it is. Historically, this kanji started out as a foot pictograph. It then morphed into weirder and weirder feet, aliens, until we got a sort of cactus-looking thing. Which of course you stop before running into, unless you want to have a very painful experience. This kanji gave me a challenge for a story. Because it was originally a pictograph and the parts up and staff didn't really give me much to work with, although we could say, "You shall not pass," aka stop, and imagine Gandalf raising his staff to the Balrog on the bridge over Khazad-dûm. Okay, nerdiest spilling over.
It's a lot of
Lord of the Rings stuff. Since it has some footprints.
Real viewer,
we've got our stoplight with sideways lights and a stop sign to the left of that, propped up on a wise man's staff. But the stop sign says, "Stop!
Hydrate!
There are footprints!" instead of just stop. By the way, in Japan, a lot of times stoplights are these sideways stoplights. Also, think of archaeological footprint fossils that you're not supposed to step on. So you stop at this special stop sign, which warns you to take care before stepping over the footprints. Or you could just go with the Gandalf story, and footprints running off behind him on the bridge as everyone tries to escape. Fly, you fools! I might have to edit the kanji deck. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, make sure to get subscribed, just in case I ever change this channel into a Lord of the Rings fan channel. That could be fun. Which brings us to the actual kanji for
mini
foot.
yap.
I love to tell you that the radical here is stop, but foot is its own radical.
Foot.
Of course it is. The parts of this kanji can be mouth and stop, though. The kanji stop, when used in the ashi or foot radical position, or the nyo enclosure position, is usually written in this way, with the last 2 strokes being written more like a weird person with their leg extending out. You know, sticking out their foot to trip someone up. It has 7 strokes, none of which are too unexpected, besides the oddity of the position of the final 2 strokes in stop. We draw the mouth on top and close it up since nothing is drawn inside of it. We then draw stop with its normal order.
Weird. Oh, it goes down too. That's gonna be hard to remember.
Historically, this looked like a foot, but eventually morphed into what it is now, which is not anything like a foot. Our story is a mouth character leaving 3 footprints and saying 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. Footprints instead of stop, because when stop is used as a part in other kanji, it usually means footprint, like I talked about in the stop kanji section. Bringing us to correct. The
Correct. This is me.
radical for correct is stop, thankfully. And we can break it down into the parts one and stop. As a fun side note, this kanji is used in the same way that we use tally lines in English. So when people are tallying up points or numbers or whatever, they'll write this kanji 1 stroke at a time. And the kanji itself counts as 5. Just like our 4 lines with a line through it in America. That probably gives you the hint that there are 5 strokes incorrect, with the 1 being drawn first on top, and stop being drawn beneath it. You may wish to yell at me for saying that the final 2 strokes of stop are written weird when it's in the foot or nyo enclosure position, but I would not consider this usage of stop to be in either the foot or nyo position. This is the main front and center position of the kanji, with a 1 crowning it. In that case, we can draw stop
baby ducks.
normally.
Hello, baby
Remember,
ducks.
it means footprint here. Historically, this kanji hasn't changed.
We're learning
a whole
kanji
lot,
today.
although the Yin dynasty seemed to be flirting with making this the same as the kanji for foot. The story we'll use for this is, in our special world,
I'm just gonna lurk. No problem. Thank you, baby ducks. I appreciate it.
With
So
fluorescent
cute.
worms. The correct length of 1 human footprint is 1 worm length. I think this will make sense to the Americans among you, since we still use feet to measure things for some reason.
Right. In a special world where we measure footprints with the fluorescent words, the correct length of 1 human foot is worth 1 worm length.
Anyway, that brings us to the Lesson 7
quiz. Quiz time, chat.
I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you, or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first word is I.
I is easy. It's just the I. It's just an I. If you're gonna be more precise, it's the Isaron. That's what he used, but it just looks like an I. Boom.
Next is look.
Look is I with people legs. Boom.
Just a few more. Here's ear.
Ear was really, really weird. It's like, it almost looks like I, but it's not. It's this. I know you can't see what I'm saying. This, then it has like a thing going down off of it. Yippee.
And then there's stop, or when a radical footprint.
Stop was, it's up in the staff. Yeah.
Next is foot.
Foot is, let me pause. Foot is mouth. And then it's like the weird version of footprint. Yeah.
And finally, correct.
Correct is 1 is equal to the footprint. Or stop. Yippee!
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments. You can learn the next 5 kanji by clicking here. If the video is
next video.
Welcome to the 8th Tokiniandi kanji lesson.
Number 8.
Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following kanji. We'll also learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji.
Isn't
Today,
this like
there's 3 new parts.
child?
By the
I
way,
think one of those
stick
was
around
child.
to the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick
Oh, the next
quiz
one's car.
to
The
help
first one's car.
everything stick. So let's get into it.
This is
Jumping
car.
right into the kanji today, this one might look a little complicated, but when you find out that it means car and that it's a pictograph, things should start to click. The official radical of car is car. Probably no
Yippee.
surprises there. We can break it down further into one, day, and staff. But for the
One
story we
sun.
use in this course,
Yeah.
we'll be sticking with a pictograph. There are 7 strokes in car. Every single one follows the rules you would expect. We start with the first horizontal 1.
Mm-hmm.
We draw sun exactly as expected, and the next horizontal 1. We then cut through all of the parts with a staff, making this kanji
Yep.
be one of the few we've covered so far that seems to follow all the rules. Don't worry, more
Yippee.
and more kanji will begin following the rules as we move forward. In the distant past, car always seemed to have the parts that it has today, but
Car.
it usually had lots of
Kuruma.
other parts as well. Sometimes there were 2 suns acting as wheels, and other times there were people pulling the car. Who knows what this really old one was? I vote for aliens, of course. The main point, though, is that this was always a pictograph of a car or cart. Our story or image will also be a pictograph for this kanji.
Of a car.
Imagine a new futuristic electric car from above, with only 2 giant wheels and a big old single pane of glass on top. Think this Tesla Model 3. I think that the YouTuber Whistlin' Diesel put giant wheels
What
on
the
it.
heck?
I haven't actually watched that video, but the thumbnail keeps popping up on my YouTube, so. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it, or to create a story of your own that will help you remember the kanji even better.
Me?
Make sure the story contains the meaning and every single part in.
Okay. Let me just read this. Imagine a new futuristic car from above. What? Why is above in here? Like, there's day, but like,
in some way.
hmm.
Bringing us to our next kanji, hand. The official radical
Hand?
for hand is hand, which I think is fair here. It shows up as a radical in many other kanji, though the shape changes a bit when it's in other positions. We'll cover those when we need them. We can break it down into a no radical,
No.
the kanji for two,
Two.
and a feathered broomstick. That is
A
the exact order
feathered
we'll write the
broomstick.
4 strokes of hand in as well. We write the
No.
no radical from
two.
top to bottom, or right to left, then the kanji for 2. We then cut through those 2 parts
The
using
feathered
the
broomstick.
feathered broomstick radical. Don't forget to curl this part out to the left at the end. Historically, this kanji was apparently modeled on an
Interesting.
open palm. So you've got the palm with the fingers splayed out. They weren't very good at drawing hands back then. Or aliens. I should stop with that, but I can't. The ancient Chinese kanji creators made it so easy to use my imagination. Of course, this old Japanese or kobun version of the kanji
Looks
kind
terrifying.
of looks like some kind of ghost Pokemon that has 4 squinting eyes and a smiley face. If you can see that even slightly, be sure to hit the like button because
Oh no, I gotta hit the like button now.
our story for hand blends the 3 parts we broke it down into. Nose hand is actually a feathered broomstick, and he likes sweeping off the 2 fluorescent
Nose hand is actually a feathered broomstick. He likes sweeping off the 2 fluorescent worm.
worm brothers.
Ah.
Lots of pictographs today, eh? Well, this one is
Child.
no exception. It means child. The official radical for child is, unsurprisingly, child. We'll be seeing it in plenty of other kanji. 2 of them we'll see in this video. But we can break it down further into a feathered broomstick,
The
and
broomstick
one.
and
That
one.
part on top, we're just gonna leave that alone.
I'm just
It's
gonna
like
leave it
the
alone.
Head of the child, I guess. Child has 3 strokes, with that head part that we don't have a name for coming first. Next, we draw the feathered broomstick, being sure to curl it out to the left at the bottom. We then draw the 1 through that vertical line,
Oh.
which is the opposite of what you would expect. Once again, Early, simple kanji often break the quote rules, but more
Break
complicated
the
kanji will tend
rules.
to follow those rules, so don't worry about that too much right now. One thing to note is that in handwriting, the first
Child.
and second strokes are very frequently combined into a single stroke. Historically, this kanji hasn't changed much, although it used to have its hands in the air like it just don't care, or sometimes had flowing hair as it danced around. In my kanji dictionary, I found that kids way back in the past may have had cooler hairstyles than they do
What
today.
the heck?
For the story, we'll be doing a combination of
Uh-oh.
pictograph and parts. It's a pictograph of a child Ando-san, who for some reason has the lower half of a feathered broomstick, like a house cleaning mermaid child.
That's weird. Why is my dog barking? 1 second, chat. Don't know what my dog was barking at.
In Japanese, this radical is called the u crown because it looks like the top half of the katakana u. It has the
Ooh.
meaning of roof though, so we'll be calling it house roof. Because it's
House
not a
roof.
kanji, it has no official radical, but we'll consider its single part to be the katakana u. It has
Ooh.
3 strokes, which are identical to the katakana u. We draw the drop on top, or the chimney as I'll be calling it, then the left vertical line, followed by a single stroke that goes horizontal and then cuts down 90 degrees, giving us our finished house roof. Historically, this looked more like a complete house than just a roof. But for our
House.
story, we'll be saying that U is such a fundamental character that it's our most basic roof. A house roof. If you found that
A
story
house
helpful
roof.
or easy to visualize, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so that you don't miss any of the stories we release in the future. The first kanji we'll be learning that uses both the last radical we learned and the kanji child as a radical is this one, which means letter, as in characters
Letter.
like A, B, C, individual kanji, etc. Not a letter
Letter.
you send in the mail. The official radical for letter is child, and its broken
Child.
down parts are house roof
House
and
roof.
child.
And
There
child.
are 6 strokes in letter. We write each stroke in exactly the order of the parts. Crowns almost always come first, so we write the 3 strokes of house roof on top, exactly as expected. We follow with the 3 strokes of child, taking shelter beneath that roof.
Yippee.
Historically, this kanji hasn't changed hardly at all, being a combination of the house roof and child kanji of the respective times. So for our story, we're going with something fun. Under a house roof, the child Ando-san making out letters YMCA. If you have a better story for this one, please let us know in the comments. Or if you like this one, let us know that. The next part is common enough to warrant learning separately, and it's written with the exact same stroke order as the katakana tsu. It almost always shows up on top of kanji in the crown position, and it actually looks almost identical to a spaced out tsu, with the final stroke just being a little shorter than the katakana. But
Wait, did they say this is
position, the kanji
Sue?
tsu, it almost always shows up on top of kanji in the crown position, and it actually looks almost identical to a spaced out tsu, with the final stroke just being a little shorter than the katakana. But because of the type of kanji that this part tends to show up in, we're going with a meaning of study and learning.
That's what I'm doing right now.
It doesn't have a radical
Studying
because
and
it's not
learning.
even a radical, let alone a kanji. And it's its only part, which we'll be denoting with a tsu katakana. The 3 strokes are exactly the same as the katakana tsu. Did I say that yet? Anyway, we write the 2 left strokes first at a steep angle left to right, with the 3rd stroke being more like a no radical.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we could have included that as a part, but it is what it is. Our story for the study and learning crown is Teacher Tsu is all about
Teacher Sue.
studying and learning, especially the difference in stroke order between Tsu and Shi,
Oh no.
which he's very strict about when teaching the tiny Tsu.
Sue.
Quick bonus
Shi.
tip here. The first 2 strokes in Tsu are written left to right and are nearly vertical, while the first 2 strokes in Shi are written from the top middle stroke and are almost horizontal. That means that when written, these are actually easier to tell apart than the computer fonts are. And here comes another character whose official name is based around the fact that it looks exactly like a katakana character. In this case, the katakana wa. But since it takes on a meaning of laying something on top of something else, and it's usually either in the crown position or crowning a part within another kanji, we're going with the meaning of wear a hat.
Wear a hat?
It's an official radical, so that's right, no radical. And the only part we're going to reference is the katakana wa. It has 2 simple strokes that are identical to the 2nd and 3rd strokes in house roof. Some of you are probably wondering why this radical wasn't taught first. While I believe in some systems, like remembering the kanji, it is taught first, in reality, this is not considered a part of house roof, which their official names, wa-crowned and u-crowned, should hint at. Anyway, historically, this used to be more 3D. At least that's what it looks like to me. Though for a long time, I guess it just looked like a staple. We've seen other parts that look like a staple too, though, so that probably won't help you. Unlike our story for this character, which is the Wahat gives the power of whatever is drawn on its front plate to the wearer. Wow. I took inspiration from Naruto's headband, if you couldn't tell.
Naruto! I love Naruto!
One season of it. Am I missing out? Let me know. Also, that wow at the end is giving a small hint at the wa pronunciation of the katakana this one looks like. This character combines the last 2 parts we learned with the kanji for child.
Learning and then wear a hat.
You may be able to guess that this kanji
Teaching?
takes the meaning of learn. The official radical for learn is, fortunately, child. The parts we can break it down into are study and learning crown, wear a hat, and child. This kanji has the most strokes of any we've learned today. 8. Which makes sense considering how many parts we combined. We attach the study and learning crown to the top of the kanji, going left to right. We combine it with the wear a hat part by drawing those 2 strokes below it, ideally connecting to each stroke of the tsu katakana. We then draw child below it in 3 strokes. Don't forget to curl out the feathered broomstick part of child and angle that horizontal 1 up ever so slightly to the right. Historically, this character sometimes did not have a child inside what looked like a school building. Sometimes it looked like a school building on fire. Apparently, most of the versions of it had this part that looks like 2 hands coming together. They were supposed to be an image of someone moving their hands around like this as they tried to teach a child something. I don't feel like this would do it. This part has been simplified into the study and learning part we learned earlier. Our story for this kanji is as follows. To learn the difference between shi and tsu, child Ando-san must put on the hat of study and learning. Until you learn this, you're just a child in the realm of Japanese learning. I wish I had that hat when I was first trying to learn the difference between tsu and shi. By the way, the thing that is connected on top of that wear a hat part is the thing that we imagine drawn on the front plate of the hat. So basically, the thing on top of the wear hat gives somewhat of a meaning to that part as a whole, the combined part. Anyway, that brings us to the Lesson 8 quiz.
Oh no.
In this section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the
Oh,
English
no-y.
meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you, or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. We're gonna mix things up this time.
Uh-oh.
Our first card is letter, or
Letter. That was... It's the, what roof was it? That was the U roof. The normal house roof. And then it had a child in it. And then child has that feathered broomstick, and then the one.
character.
Yeah, under a house roof. Yeah, house roof. Yeah.
Next is car.
Car. Car just looks like a car, but it has one day, and then another one, and then it has a wand going through it.
Just a few more. Here's learn.
Learn was the last one we did, which was, it has like the Sue, and then it has the hat of learning, or the wear the hat of learning. So let me put learning, and then the hat, wear a hat, and it had the child, and then boom. That should be right? Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's child.
Child is easy. It's just this little like piece, and then the no, and then the one.
Finally, we have
Yippee.
hand.
Oh, what was hand? I forgot we even did hand. Hand is the no with the feathered broomstick and two, right? We have the no, the feathered broomstick two. Oh no, is it no then two? The feathered broomstick going between it. It's tough. Let's find out, chat. I think I got this one wrong. Oh yeah, I did. Okay, I got it right. Yeah, it's this, and then it's no, and then it's the two, and then it's the feathered broomstick going between it. Let's go.
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments.
Let's
You can learn the
go.
next
We're
5
so
kanji by
smart,
clicking
chat.
Here, if the video is already out. If you don't want to wait, you can continue learning. Welcome to the 9th Tokini
Number 9.
lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following kanji.
Wow. This is
We'll
rice
also
field,
learn
right?
parts
Rice
and
field.
radicals
I
needed
know
for
most of
those
these.
kanji.
This is like rice field. This is like cut, I think. Rice field cut. I forget what this was. I'm pretty sure I learned this though. I think this is like woman, right? And I forget what this one is.
Today, there are 3 new parts. By the way, stick around to the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick.
Quiz.
So let's get into it. We're starting off easy today with a pictograph that means
Rice
field.
Oh.
Field is its own radical, which means it will be showing up in many other kanji, where it'll
Field.
retain this meaning. We can break it down into the three parts: mouth,
Mhm.
staff,
Yep.
and one, though it's probably not necessary. There are 5 strokes in field. We draw the first vertical line for
Yep.
our mouth enclosure, followed by the second stroke in that enclosure, going west to east.
Ooh, they picked up their thing. They're not supposed to pick up here. They're not supposed to pick up here. They messed
followed
up.
by the second stroke in that enclosure, going west to east and cutting 90 degrees down to the south. While in China, they follow the rules you'd expect from here by drawing the horizontal line on the inside of the mouth first. In Japan, kids are taught to draw the vertical staff part next, followed by the final 2 horizontal lines. They just had to be different. Historically, this kanji has changed very little, though its official Kobun kanji, or Old Japanese character, has a bit of flourish on top, which I have to assume is a pitchfork? Interestingly, the lines are supposed to represent the little roads between fields that you'll often see here in Japan. Our story for this one isn't really a story. It's a pictograph, just like it's supposed to be. It's a field divided into 4 plots. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it, or to create a story of your own that will help you remember the kanji even better. Make sure the story contains the meaning and every single part in some way. Bringing us to our next character, which means strength.
Oh, strength?
The official radical for strength is the extremely common strength.
Ooh.
We can break it down into a no part, and let's just call this second stroke its flexing arm. There are 2 strokes in strength, which fortunately are in exactly the order you'd expect.
Flexing.
We draw the flexing arm part first, as that is the most important thing to show when you're creating a pictograph of physical strength. Make sure to curl in the hand like this. And then we draw the no part, cutting through the flexing arm, making it look like both arms. The other one posed behind nose back or something. Like this? As silly as this may all sound, my seemingly random choice to suggest thinking of this part as an arm is historically accurate. That's not because I started from history, but because I got really lucky. You can see the arm used for this kanji being combined with the field from before to indicate a meaning of strength needed to work in a field. The field is grayed out because that part was only included when in the next kanji we're going to be covering. At least, that's how I interpret this. Our story will use both of the parts we broke it down into, both no and a flexing arm. This is our friend No, flexing, the image of true strength. Flex your arm and hit the like button. It helps me get stronger.
I hate his things. It's so funny.
Did you man up and hit the subscribe button after hitting the like button? Or are you already the man and subscribed to this channel?
Oh no.
Well,
no.
Regardless, this kanji means man. Man's official radical is field. Get back in the field, man. We can break man down further into field and strength, which you could probably already see. There are 7 strokes in man, all of which follow the same order as the respective parts. We draw the first vertical line for our mouth enclosure, followed by the second stroke in that enclosure, going west to east and cutting down 90 degrees to the south. We then draw the staff and 2 horizontal lines, closing up the field. Next, we draw the flexing arm in strength, making sure to curl it in a bit, followed by the no part, finishing it off. Make sure to connect the no part to the field. Historically, this appears to have always been the flexing arm indicating strength, combined with a field. In Japan, men have always been the ones to work in the field, I guess. Although, in modern Japan, it's the old grandmas out there doing the work a lot of the time.
Field and strength is man.
For our story, we have, when asked how he became such a strong man, our flexing no said he owed all of his strength to working in the fields.
Working in the fields.
We made it 3 kanji before having to learn a new part, but alas, here we are. We're going to call this non-radical part the ku part, because it looks exactly like a hiragana ku. It's not a radical or kanji, just a part, so no radical. And it's only part is going to be the ku hiragana, though it's sometimes a little more stylized or angled when in actual kanji. Japanese people do refer to this part as ku though, especially when they learn the next kanji we're going to learn. It has one stroke that is written in exactly the same way as the hiragana ku, starting at the top and cutting back to the right from around the middle. For our story, we're going to use a Japanese word, though we'll likely not do this again for quite a while. It was just too perfect to pass up. Ku-man likes to coup. Our version of Pac-Man is called Ku-man because
Ku-man
well,
likes to
look at his
coup.
mouth. And coup is a very informal version of the word to eat. So Ku-man likes to eat is another way you could memorize this. Bringing us to the first kanji that uses the ku character and which even Japanese people will recognize ku as being a part of. This one means woman. The official radical for woman is itself woman. This is fair because it's a very common radical in other kanji. We can break it down into ku, no, and one. Japanese people use the mnemonic or just the names ku no ichi to remember this kanji and its stroke order, as ichi means one. And also it rolls off the tongue better than ku no fluorescent worm. There are 3 strokes in woman, which combined with the 7 of man gives us a perfect 10. Don't mind me. We first write the ku, as mentioned before, though it's sort of leaning back a little. Next, no cuts through that. Finally, we write the horizontal 1 above both of those, above the cutback in ku and just below the start of no. This kanji looks deceptively simple, but it's actually incredibly difficult to write in a balanced, nice-looking way. I'm terrible at it. Fun anecdote, Brian Rack, the creator of Satori Reader, actually writes it perfectly. I was super surprised when I watched him casually write it in person once during a video we were shooting together. Historically, this was a pictograph of a kneeling woman with her arms folded in front of her. Stern look on her face. Okay, I made up the stern look part, but honestly, I don't see the kneeling part in any of these. This one looks more like a Gundam pose or something. Our story for woman is ku, no, and ichi, the fluorescent worm, stack up and dress as a woman strutting down the runway. Don't forget to add your own stories for these kanji in the comments, by the way. Maybe you'll have something better for this one that others can also use. This part is a non-official radical that used to be a kanji, meaning left hand. It's usually used as a hanging over enclosure now. It does not have an official radical, but it's made up of a one and no part.
One and no.
The stroke order for this part sometimes depends on the kanji that it shows up in, or what part it's hung over top of. We're going to go with drawing the one first, followed by the no part, which is, I believe, how the original kanji was written. In some kanji, this will be written no first, though, so keep that in mind. Historically, this was a kanji. The end. For our story, we have no is holding a fluorescent worm in its left hand.
No is holding a fluorescent worm.
This is actually a kanji, but it's not taught until JLPT N1 and Kanken level 3, so we're bringing it up here just as a radical for the next kanji. I chose the meaning of again. Because in modern Japanese, where I seem to see it the most is in the word again. But I do feel like I missed an opportunity with this one because officially, when used as a radical, it has the meaning of to carry, grab, or take, or right hand, which makes it a perfect companion to our last part and would be super useful in the story for the next kanji.
Left hand.
I did not choose this though, and I'm regretting it a little now. But it's already in the Anki deck on tokenyandy.com, so I'm just letting you know that right hand is also a perfectly reasonable meaning you could use for this kanji and your own stories. It is a radical, but also a kanji, so its official radical is itself. Remember, we won't be learning any words for this at this level, so we're not really going to worry about this right now. We could break this down quite easily into a fu part and backwards no, though. There are 2 strokes in exactly that order. The fu part is written exactly like a katakana fu, and then the backwards no cuts through it, starting from just below the start of the fu part. Another
Wow.
reason that I sort of regret not choosing right arm or right hand for the meaning of this kanji is that historically it was a pictograph of just that, a right hand, of an alien, of course. Anyway, for our story, Fu and No attempt to make this kanji many times. The director keeps screaming, again, again, as they mess it up, finally creating this kanji. Maybe as an added bonus, you can imagine the director holding a clapperboard in his right hand. The idea behind this story is that they're sort of playing charades and trying to create this kanji with their bodies. You get the idea. Looking at this kanji and knowing that it means friend, you may start to
Friend.
see even more why I think right hand is another great meaning for our last part. Again, Andy, you're really going to bring this up again?
Again.
A combination of left hand and right hand could be friends holding hands or a million other stories. But anyway, the official radical of friend is again. Or right hand. The parts are left hand and again. There are 4 strokes in friend. We start with the 1 in left hand and follow it with a no. It encloses or hangs over again beneath it. We draw that in exactly the order you'd expect. Fu followed by the backwards no. Interestingly, this kanji used to be 2 right hands instead of a left and right hand. Or maybe they just really didn't like left hands back then. Would explain why kanji is so difficult to write in the correct stroke order for left-handed people without putting tons of holes in the paper. Anyway, the story for friend is the director uses his left-hand man, aka friend No, to light up the scene again and again with his fluorescent worm.
The director uses his left-hand man, aka friend No, to light up the scene again and again with his fluorescent worm.
He's like holding the fluorescent worm up over the scene again and again. Hook us up with a story for left hand and right hand part names down in the comments. Which brings us to the Lesson 9 quiz. In this section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is woman.
Woman is Fu no Ichi. Boom.
Next is man.
Man is rice field and strength, which strength was the muscle and then the no. The arm. Yeah.
Just a few more. Here's strength.
Strength is just it's just the arm and then the no. It's part of the last one.
And then there's friend.
Friend is it's the left hand. Sorry, no, it's the right hand. No, yeah, left hand. Left hand's right. Yeah, left, right, and then again. The way that they said this was weird. Yeah, the left-hand man. Yeah, it's on the left.
Finally, we have field.
Field is easy. It's just into 4 spots. It's just put up into 4 spots. Yippee!
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments. You can learn the next 5 kanji by clicking here. If the video.
Next video.
Welcome to the 10th Tokini Andy kanji lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following kanji.
Wow.
We'll also learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji. Today, there are 3 new parts. By the way, stick around to the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. And check out the pinned comment below this video to see why we're not learning readings for each kanji just yet. Let's get into it. We're starting today with a part. Technically, this is a kanji, but it's on the absolute highest level of kanji tests that natives take, the Kanken 1. So we're only ever going to be learning this as a part. That means grass clippers.
Grass clippers.
Does have an official radical? No. But
no
need to worry about that. Technically, the parts for this could be no and backwards no, but we're going to leave it alone and consider it a part on its own, since pictographically, this one is pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
There are two strokes in grass clippers. As with most diagonal lines, we start with the one that is pulled back, right to left, and finish with the backwards no, cutting right down the middle and making a nice pair of grass clippers. Historically, this used to look more like a scythe at one point, but mostly it hasn't changed much. So for our story, we're going with a pictograph of clippers for cutting grass. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it, or to create a story of your own that will help you.
They really have to bring this up every single video?
Better. Make sure the story contains the meaning and
if you're on number 10, I think you know this already.
Our first kanji to use the last part will be father. The official radical for father is itself, father. But we can break it down into an 8 and grass clippers. There are 4 strokes in father, which perfectly illustrate the rule that with multiple diagonal lines, the one written right to left is drawn first. We draw 8 with the stroke on the left, which is drawn right to left first, then the leg on the right, as expected. Then the grass clippers on the bottom are drawn with the diagonal line that goes right to left being first, and the backwards no last. I feel like this kanji flows perfectly, especially the calligraphy. Historically, this kanji was supposed to be a hand holding an axe, marking the father as the one who protects the family. This one, though, is clearly
cheap
an alien
viewers. OMG, I get to ban someone. Oh, they're able to spam it twice. That's kind of scary.
Out of father. So much for protecting the family, Dad. For our story, we'll be setting aside the aliens and saying 8 out of 10 fathers would like grass clippers for Father's Day. Imagine a committee of 10 fathers deciding on what are appropriate Father's Day gifts or something. 8 of them hold up their circle signs indicating that grass clippers are acceptable. Or you can just use the pictograph of 8 horse legs over grass clippers. Why didn't I think of that image of a committee before releasing the Yankee deck? Since we learned father, obviously next we want to learn mother. The official radical of mother is mother. We should note, though, that when this shows up as a radical in other kanji, it usually looks like this, with the 2 dots turned into a single line, meaning this has one less stroke than the kanji when it's used as a part or radical in other kanji. We'll break this kanji down into 3 parts: ku part, a dot, or 2 dots, and 1. There is a 4th part in there, but not one we'll be learning separately. It's similar to the flexed arm we learned in strength. I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't have just taught that as an actual part. There are 5 strokes in mother. First, we draw the ku part at a very similar angle to the one drawn in woman. Then the flexing arm part, similar to the one we used in strength. We curve in the bottom of this stroke after passing through the bottom of ku. This is a little unusual, as usually I'd expect to close a box like this after drawing the inside part. But that is not the case with mother. The next 2 strokes are the dots on the inside, after which we cut right through the middle of everything with our 1. Remember how I said the ku part is written very similar to the one in woman? Well, that's no coincidence. Historically, this was written very similarly to woman, almost identically. There were just 2 dots added to differentiate this one. My kanji dictionary, the Kodokawa Shinjigen, states that these are to indicate a mother's breasts for feeding their child. But the Japanese Wiktionary I use for pulling up these screenshots says this is mistaken and they were only used for differentiating it. I'm not certain which is true, but now you know both. We're going to use the kanji dictionary explanation though and say even if you don't want to think about your mother this way, these are her breasts,
So
turned sideways, like she's lying on her side. Remember mother as a woman, which should help you remember the different parts of this kanji. This next part is not an official radical, but it shows up in enough kanji to warrant learning on its own. We're going to call it no lying down.
No
It's neither
lying
a
down.
kanji nor radical, so obviously it does not have an official radical. But we can break it down into a no part and one. There are 2 strokes in no lying down, following an order you're likely to expect. We draw the no radical part, starting at the top, and then the one from around the middle of the no. Please keep in mind that this part will usually appear above other kanji in the crown position. I couldn't find any history on this part, but apparently it's often referred to as no ichi for convenience sake, so
No
that works out
ichi.
well, especially since our story, or image, is no lying down on a fluorescent worm.
No lying down
Been a
on a
while since we saw
fluorescent
those,
worm.
guys. Or has it? This is the first kanji we're going to learn with no lying down in it, but not the last. I promise I'll point it out for each kanji that it shows up in, which is exactly what this kanji means. Each. The official radical for each is mother. Remember that the 2 dots in mother are
Become
a
a line.
single line when it's a radical in other kanji. The 2 parts in each are no lying down and the mother radical. There are 6 strokes in each. We start with the no lying down in the crown position, writing the no and then the one connected to it. We follow this with the ku in mother and the flexing arm part, similar to the one in strength, making sure to flex that hand in. Next, we draw the straight line down the middle in place of the 2 dots in mother and slice a 1 through the whole thing. Historically, this was apparently supposed to show mother with a hairpiece on, which was her usual state of being, which is apparently another meaning for this kanji. You could think of mom having a special hairpiece for each and every day. Or you could use this weird story. Each no lies down on its mother each and every day. Let us know in the comments which story you prefer,
each and every day.
tell us the one that you made up. Which brings us to the next part, which is also a kanji. We're not going to go into detail on the kanji though until the next level. This part means katana. Its official radical is itself, though it's sometimes listed as a derivative of itself, which looks a lot like the katakana di. We'll be learning this later as blade. I don't know why I'm talking about it now, though, as we're just learning this as a part.
Oh, that's probably why I got the strength one
It is its
confused.
only part, unless you want to pull out that flexing arm which keeps haunting me and throw a no underneath it. There are 2 strokes in katana. We first draw the flexing arm part, which I guess is just an unofficial part of the Tokiniandi mythology now, and finish it off with a no connecting to the armpit. Historically, this hasn't changed much, beyond its old bronze inscription, which was a literal hieroglyphic of a knife. For our story, I went with a pictograph that looks more like what I think this actually looks like. It's a katana handle. Like the video if you agree that this looks more like the handle of a sword than the actual sword itself, because I have to remind you, according to the YouTube Bible. Just 2 kanji left, making this one half of the remaining 2, or 1 segment, which is exactly what this kanji means. Segment. The official radical of segment is clearly katana, and we can break it down further into an 8 and katana. Segment has 4 strokes, which should come as no surprise. We write 8 as expected, starting on the left, and then write the second stroke on the right. This is in the crown position, but it's still basically a straight up 8 hanging over the katana below it on both sides. We write the katana exactly as expected, with the flexing arm first and the no part second. Historically, this has sadly always been a knife cutting through an 8. I say sadly because for us, 8 is horse legs.
No.
Which means for our story, yep, you got it.
No.
The kanji for 8 was created by a katana
Uma
cutting through it
Musume.
and segmenting our horse in 2. Hurry up and subscribe so we can save the horse.
So we're cutting up the 8 horse legs. Feels bad.
Don't ask me how it helps, it just does. Now we've come to the final kanji in this video. It means now. See what I did there?
Now.
Am I being annoying yet? Technically, the official radical of now is person.
Yep.
But it's clearly in the crown position,
Yep.
which means that it's really a human roof.
Yep,
That's
human
why
roof.
the parts we'll be dividing it into are human roof,
Yep.
one,
One.
and foo part. There are
foo.
4 strokes in now. We start with the 2 strokes of human roof, crowning the kanji. Next, we draw a single straight line, or
Yep.
one part, just below the roof.
Ooh.
Well, actually, almost inside the roof part, actually. We then draw the foo part directly below the 1. Historically, my kanji dictionary says that this is supposed to be the tongue of a bell hanging out of the bottom. You could imagine the bell ringing, signifying that now is the time, if you wanted. Of course, I personally see a bunch of A's, as in Andy, who is talking to you right now. Then there are these 2 characters from the mirror realm, and whatever the heck this is. The real story we're using for this, though, is now on the 5 o'clock news. We see a TV screen on it. The Ando-san roof with a fluorescent worm light illuminates Fu laughing below it. Fu is always laughing. Now and always, because Fu lives in the now. Which brings us to the lesson 10
He
quiz.
just gives up.
In this section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is segment.
Segment is the cutting up the 8 horse legs. You got 8. And then you got the almost like the strength and then the no.
Segment.
Flexing arm.
Next is
Each. This was the no lying down. No ichi. And then it has the mother. Which also has that kind of like flexing arm. Then it's replaced with the line horizontal and then
each
no lies down.
Just a few more.
Yeah.
Here's
father is 8. 8 out of 10 fathers recommend grass slippers, and then the grass slippers are just grass slippers.
father.
Yeah. Boom.
And then there's now.
Now is the human roof 1 and the foo. Foo. Because the foo lives in the now.
Finally, we have mother.
Mother is a lot like a woman. It has that arm, 2 dots, and a line going through it.
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments.
Yeah.
You can learn the next 5 kanji by clicking here.
Lesson
Welcome to the
11.
Pokini Andy kanji lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical
Yippee.
evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following kanji. We'll also learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji. Today, there are 2 new parts. And stick around to the end
2
of the
new
lesson
parts.
where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. Also, check out the pinned comment below this video to see why we're not learning readings for each kanji just yet. This kanji is apparently supposed to be the image of a mochi hammer, also known as a kine, and it is the 7th kanji in the Chinese zodiac, also known as the horse zodiac. Sometimes the kanji for a real horse is used in the zodiac, but this one seems to be the standard in Japanese versions. Please do correct me if I'm wrong though. I'm sure you will regardless. But anyway, In modern Japanese, it's almost always used in reference to time. Specifically, it marks noon, and it's usually
Noon?
combined with kanji like before or after to indicate whether something is happening before or after noon, aka AM or PM. I think that the official radical for this kanji, 10, makes it easy to
10.
remember. You write it with 2 strokes plus
Yep.
10, aka 12 noon. The parts are
12
no
noon.
lying down,
No lying
and
down.
10.
10.
There are 4 strokes in noon, with no tricks in sight. We draw no first, followed by ichi. We then draw 10 as expected, with the horizontal line first and the staff part
see.
last, cutting down the middle. Historically, this was modeled after a mochi hammer, as I mentioned before, and was then borrowed for the zodiac, and eventually became what it is today. The official old Japanese kanji kids learn in school looks more like a house roof on top of a 10, though. None of that will help as much as this story does, though. No lies down from 10 to noon every day.
No lies down 10 to noon every day.
You see it? 10 to noon is 2 hours, which gives us the extra 2 strokes of no lying down. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story and really try to imagine it.
Yes,
Or
we
to create
know.
a story of
We
your own that will
know.
help you
We
remember
know,
the kanji
Tokenie
even
Andy.
better. Make sure the story contains the meaning and every single part in some way. This radical is also a kanji, which appears on the Kanken level 10 and JLPTN 2. So we won't be learning it as a kanji, or any words that contain it, until a later level.
Wow.
We're just going to learn it as the radical, which means hang to dry. It is its own official radical, made of the parts 1 and 10. This is a very simple kanji to write. We draw the 1 followed by the 10 below it, making sure the first horizontal line in 10 is a bit longer than the 1, which makes this almost look like a 2. We then draw the staff straight through it. You may of course be wondering at this point why on earth we did not make this a part of noon. Well, I think the historical versions can help make that a little clearer. The top part of this kanji was clearly always completely different from the one in noon. This one was supposed to be a shield with decorations on it, apparently. Our story for this kanji will be: a fluorescent worm is left to dry on a 10 staff. Don't leave me out to dry here on
Fluorescent
YouTube.
worm.
Make sure you hit that like button.
Left
Bringing us to the first kanji that makes me regret ever starting to teach kanji. It won't be the last either. Anyway, this is also the first kanji to use our last radical, hang to dry. But Andy, why not noon? Yeah, I know. I agree. It'd make way more sense, especially since noon is at least related to time, and this kanji means year. But alas, its official radical is hang to dry. With that said, I think it may make a little more sense by the time we get to the end of this section.
Hello, fellow kanji learner here. Same, we're learning. The big learn.
And the kanji appears so frequently that you should have no issues with it before long. There are a few ways we can approach the parts. No. A 1 combined with hang to dry and an extra weird line thrown in to boot.
How am I going to remember the extra weird line thrown in to boot?
Or no lying down.
No lying down, yeah.
Hang to dry.
And hangs dry.
Giving us our extra horizontal line. And a weird extra vertical line. We're going to go with that one for our story. And we'll address it a bit more in the historical evolution section. There are 6 strokes in year. We start with the no and
no lying down.
In no lying down, followed by the first horizontal line in hang to dry.
Yeah.
We then draw that weird mini staff, which we won't see again for quite a while.
The weird mini staff, huh?
We then draw the final horizontal line, larger than all the previous lines, or rather longer.
Okay.
Connected to the mini staff. We then draw the vertical line through everything. Some sources claim this was a pictograph of a person carrying grains on their back and representing a meaning of a ripening
Just call it
crop.
a post, scratching post. Oh. Isn't that what they do in remembering the kanji? I think I got that part.
Some others claim this is a mistake. All sources I found, though, do agree that the top part of this kanji was originally a radical. We'll learn later that means grain, and the bottom was 1,000. Basically, it looked like this. That was eventually borrowed and then simplified into this character, giving us a meaning of year. For our story, we'll have the worm that no lies down on is used for a year before being replaced. That's an English one thrown in the middle of the drying kanji.
The story? So how remembering the kanji and how this person does the Tokeni Andy, they give you like a story that you can remember. It's like mnemonics, right? Like I don't ever really use their story though. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
That's because the worm dries out after.
Let me read this. The worm lying down. Wait, the worm that no lie downs on is being used for a year before beginning replace. Wait, before being replaced. That's an English one. Throw in the middle of the. What the heck? It's a weird way of remembering that. Okay, it's this. That's gonna be really hard to remember. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Broski can't read the stories anyway. It's so true.
My throat is drying out after all that talking, so why don't you hit the subscribe
I can't even
button
read.
And the bell while I grab a drink. That brings us to our last part for today, which means small measurement.
Small measurement,
this is a kanji in its own
Hydrate.
radical. It doesn't show up until the
Thank you, baby ducks.
JLPTN1 and Kanken 5, though.
Thoughts
So
on microwave coffee? I guess it's fine, right? That's probably fine for you. I probably wouldn't drink it. I'm not a big fan of coffee in general, though. That's the problem.
Only. The parts are 1, feathered broomstick.
No, fam, no.
Or drop.
It's probably fine. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I'm
Technically,
small measurement.
This is a kanji in its own radical. It doesn't show up until the JLPTN1 and Kanken 5, though, so we're learning it today
it's
as
a crime. Oh, I'm sorry.
The parts are 1, feathered broomstick, and a dot or drop.
Okay, 1 feathered broomstick and a dot. Okay.
Drop. There are 3 strokes in small measurement. We draw the 1 first
yeah.
and cut the feathered broomstick through that. Make sure the feathered broomstick is off to the right quite a ways. It should not be drawn right down the center like you might expect. We then draw the drop enclosed within those 2 strokes on the left. Historically, this appears to have usually been an alien hand with an extra horizontal line next to it or attached to it. Some dictionaries suggest that this was an image of touching one's wrist to measure heartbeats. Others suggest a hand making a
That's a deer antler.
Others suggest this is all malarkey. Regardless, to me, this looks a lot like a pictograph of the following story. These are small measurement calipers measuring the exact size of a small drop. Let me know in the comments if you can see that. The first kanji we'll be learning
Wait, why?
Let me know in the comments if you...
Okay, they were like, okay, we're gonna make these parts, and you have to have every part in the thing. But they don't even use like their own parts. But okay.
You can see that. The first kanji we'll be learning with the small measurement part is temple. The official radical
My pen ain't penning.
Is small measurement, with the parts being clearly defined as dirt or soil on top of small measurement. There are 6 strokes in temple. We start with the first.
Wait, that was
with
the.
the parts being.
They didn't even put the right
There
one in there. They put the regular measurement in there,
6 strokes
or
in temple.
the
We
temple.
start with the first horizontal stroke in dirt and cut the staff part through that. We then draw the final horizontal stroke in dirt. Make sure to keep this part in the upper half because we're drawing a
I remember
full-on
temple.
small measurement below it.
I remember they did it differently in remembering the kanji, where they had the soil, the ground, and it was something to do with like a monk, I think. I can't remember how they did it. Maybe it was the same thing. Maybe it was
We
measurement as
draw
well.
the 1 in small measurement, followed by the feathered broomstick.
He's American, let him
flexing out to
cook.
the
Let's
left,
go.
And the drop enclosed inside of them both on the left. Historically, the top part of this character used to be the radical
American.
stop and was placed there to indicate pronunciation. The kanji as a whole apparently held a meaning of to carry or hold, which actually explains why it appears in some kanji we'll learn later. It also often used to mean public office. Eventually, the top was changed to dirt, and it also came to mean temple, which is the only place we really see it on its own today. For our story, we'll say, there is always a cemetery on the ground behind or above temples in Japan. And every temple is measured precisely, one small measurement at a time. Remember, the kanji for dirt to me.
There is always a cemetery on the ground behind or above temples in Japan, and every temple is measured precisely, one small measurement at a time.
At least looks like a gravestone, which is why we keep using that in stories. The time has come. We are finally at the halfway point of all parts and kanji we're going to be learning in the JLPT N5 and Kanji 10 level. In no time, we'll be learning words for each of these kanji. This kanji means time. The official radical for time is appropriately sun, the ultimate indicator of time. The parts we'll be breaking it down into.
Oh, yeah, that's where it was. It was
our sun and
temple.
Yeah. There are 10 strokes in time, making it the most stroke-heavy kanji we've learned to date. With that said, I don't think you will find it particularly challenging. We start with the first 2 strokes in the enclosure of sun. Draw the one inside of it, and close it up. We shine that sun over onto the temple on the right, starting that with the dirt on top. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal. We then draw small measurement below it, making sure to swipe left on the feathered broomstick, and enclose our drop within it. Historically, this appears to have contained the same part.
Anytime I hear the word stroke, my mind goes dirty. I'm not okay.
Parts,
might be a problem of being clinically online.
It appears that sun was used to indicate the meaning, which is often the role of parts that show up in the hen position on the left, while temple was used to indicate the Chinese reading, which is also often the role of the part on the right of kanji in the tsukuri position. Check out this video if you'd like a refresher on that. Anyway, the story I'm using for this kanji is quite simple. The Sun Temple honors time. Bringing us to a small little kanji that means small.
Small?
Yes.
It's like my chat.
Keep doing that. Small is its own radical because it shows up all over the place. We can break it down into a feathered broomstick and 8, though. There are 3 strokes in small. We start with the feathered broomstick in the middle.
Yeah.
Making sure to curl
like my chat. My chat is always small and tiny and little.
Draw the 2 strokes in 8. First the one on the left, and then the final stroke on the right. Historically, this kanji has changed very little. Always with 3 strokes in almost the same positions. Which means our story can be simple too. The smallest feathered broomstick is 8 centimeters long. Like
the smallest
feathered broomstick.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Smallest feathered broomstick is 8 centimeters long.
Cleaning keyboards or something. Which brings us to the lesson 11 quiz. In this
Ayo.
section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji
let's
you
go.
just learned is to search your memory
Let's
for
see if
the
I can
story
remember
we
these,
taught
chat.
you, or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is
Small. We just did this one. This is the feathered broomstick with 8. It's 8 centimeters. The smallest feathered broomstick. Boom.
Next is temple.
Temple was, it's soil or ground, and then measurement. Small measurement. Yeah.
Just a few more. Here's
And then year. Year was weird. It was the no lying down, but it was also part of. Yeah, that one's impossible. That one's actually impossible. Because then you have like the weird like 1. And then like. Yeah, I don't remember this one. I don't remember the story for it.
year.
That one's hard. I'll probably redo this one. The worm that lies down. He didn't say it. The worm that no lies down on is being used for a year before replaced. That's an English 1 thrown in the middle of the drying kanji. Oh, that's so weird. Because it's literally the drying. Okay. So it's this. Oh, that's so weird. I don't like that.
And then there's noon.
Noon is just the no that lies down from 10 to 12. And it's just, yeah, the no lying down.
Finally, we have time.
Time? That's Sun Temple, right? We got, that's not Sun, that's I. Sun, and then Temple, which, do you know what it means? Tree, sushi. The last one's not Sun, right? That's, I don't know what the last one is. I know tree. Tree's the easiest. I actually don't know if that means sushi or not. It might be sakana. I don't know. It is sun? But sun is the other one, isn't it? Isn't sun just the regular, the like the other kanji for it? Am I crazy? Okay, I need to get writing this. So we got this, and then it's soil, and then small measurement. Okay. Yeah. See, isn't sun just this right here? Let me copy this. Do a quick little bit of investigation work. Oh, it does. Meaning in English. Oh. Oh. Tayo. Yeah, it is. I don't know why it's saying solar here, but yeah. I wonder what the other one is then. Like you would use in like day. What the heck?
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments. You can
All
learn
right.
the next 5 kanji by clicking.
Next
Welcome
video.
to the 12th Tokiniandi kanji lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following
Wow.
kanji. We'll also learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji. Today, there's only one new part.
One new
And
part.
stick around to the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. By the way, check the pinned comment below this video to see why we're not learning readings for each kanji just yet. Let's get into it. We're starting today off with a very simple kanji. It means big. The official
Big.
radical of big is big, which means
Big.
it shows up as a part in many other kanji. It's made up of the parts one and person. In fact, this one looks a lot more like an actual person than person does. That's not a mistake, actually. We'll get to that.
Isn't
in
there
the
one like for
historical evolution part.
dogs or
There
something
are
like
3
that?
strokes in big.
I remember something like
We
was
start
big
with
and then
the
dog.
horizontal 1 going
Crazy.
left to right. We then draw person through it, starting with the stroke on the left and finishing with the
Yippee.
1 on the right. Usually, in handwriting, the third stroke starts beneath the horizontal one, though that's not very obvious from the computer font. Historically, this is apparently a pictograph of an adult human. Some explanations say they're stretching out their legs and arms, which is easy enough to see. You can easily imagine a person holding their arms out wide like this to illustrate how big something was. This big. The alien worm was this big, Scully. For our story, that is exactly what we're going with. This fluorescent worm is big. As big as a person's stride. Or, we could add, as big as their arms fully stretched out. I went with stride because our original story for person was Ando-san viewed from the side, walking. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each story.
Yes, we know.
I'm not seeing it, but every single part, dog.
That dog.
Radical
I remember
for
dog.
is dog. You'd think big, right? Historically, this makes sense, but if you just look at the modern kanji, it's a little baffling. To make this one easier to remember, we're going to break it down into big.
Why is it cut off?
Drop or
because I full screened it.
There are 4 strokes in dog, which follow exactly the order you'd expect. We draw big with the horizontal stroke first, and person second. We then add the drop over on the right above the horizontal 1 stroke. This has got to be one of the most dramatic historical shifts for a kanji that we've seen so far. Clearly, the ancient Chinese were documenting how the lizard people aliens evolved into the dog people aliens, who then shape-shifted into our world leaders, who all have a drop of bad dog in them. What? Speaking of great fiction, our story will be the biggest dog is just a drop bigger than the big fluorescent worm. From the kanji big. If you think I should start over and create a single continuing story containing every kanji we've covered so far, but with an X-Files-like alien arc, hit the like button and find me a few hundred extra hours. I'm only half joking about the X-Files kanji series. Well, no, I'm pretty much full-on joking, but this kanji means half. The official radical for half is 10. We split that 10 in half with the 8 horse leg crown, which gives us our parts. There are 5 strokes in half. We start with the first 3 strokes in 8 horse leg crown, with the legs, 1 on the left, then on the right, and the horizontal line below. We then draw the horizontal line in 10, followed by the vertical line cutting through everything, splitting the whole thing in half.
No, the horse is getting split in half.
Oh, I will. Historically, this kanji was originally a combination of a kanji we haven't learned yet, cow, and 8.
Cow.
This apparently represented splitting up a cow in half, describing the origin of hamburgers. I couldn't find any explanation to how it became 10 and 8, but at some point in history, that happened. All of this spells misfortune for our horse that has been stuck lying on its back. We cut the horse lying on its back in half with a fluorescent 10 staff. Subscribe to save the horse. It worked last time, I think. Well, no, I guess not, since we're doing it again. This is the only new part for today. We
This is
used
like
a
cut,
staff
right?
to
Or
cut through the horse in the last
blade
story,
or
but
something like that?
this probably would have worked better.
Like
It means
blade?
blade.
Yeah.
Technically, this is a different form of a radical we learned in a previous video, katana.
Katana, yeah.
And that is considered this radical's official radical. Or rather, this is that kanji just on the right. When katana appears on the right of a kanji, it's usually drawn like this and called ritto because of how similar it looks to the katakana di. We're going to make blade its only part. There are two simple strokes in ritto, or blade.
That's cool.
They're the same as the ones in di. We draw the straight vertical line on the left, followed by the one on the right that is similar to a feathered broomstick, and generally longer than the first stroke, making sure to curve it in a bit. I could not find any history for this one different from that of katana, because technically they're the same kanji. So the story we'll use is... the name comes from the fact that it looks exactly like the katakana di, but it comes from the kanji for sword, so we're going with a blade. In other words, it's a pictograph, and that's everything I said at the beginning. The first kanji that will use ritto, or blade, is in front, and blade is the official radical. This kanji is very clearly divided up into 8 horse-leg crown, a moon, and blade. I find the orderliness of this kanji very appealing. I'm not sure why. There are 9 strokes in front. Each part is written one at a time and distinctly on its own, so it can be a little difficult to get the balance right at first. We start with the 8 horse-leg crown on top, followed by the 4 strokes in moon below it, over on the left. We finish it off with the ritto version of blade on the right, but still below the 8 horse-leg crown. Historically, it appears that this kanji used to be written with the radical stop on top, and the lower half was apparently not the moon. Apparently, it used to have a meaning of to cut. Maybe they cut something up, and this is the kanji that represents the part that fell in front. Sure. For our story, we stay in the world of the macabre and say, in front of the halved horse lying on his back, someone speaks of one moon before what happened with a blade. Please never hesitate.
Wait, in front of the halved horse lying on... That's just a weird way of doing this. There has to be a better way of remembering this kanji. In front. A moon before what happened with the blade.
Hesitate to share the story you made for a kanji in the comments. It might help someone who this story did not help. And now we come to the final kanji in lesson 12. It's been a long time coming. Come. It means come. I told you.
It means what?
Stopping. The official radical for come is tree, which is probably not hard to see. What's with the rhymes today? The parts are tree and 8 horse-leg crown, but inside the tree for some reason. Maybe a king came and dropped it in the tree? What's that? It's not the story section yet? Oh, sorry. My alien masters. There are 7 strokes in come. We start with the first horizontal stroke in tree, and then draw the 8 horse-leg crown beneath it. We then cut through the whole thing with the trunk of the tree and attach the branches beneath the 8 horse-leg crown. Historically, this was apparently a pictograph of a stalk of wheat swollen with grains. It eventually was borrowed to mean come, and eventually looked like this, with 2 little people inside the tree. The modern kanji taught as come is a simplification of that one. For our story, we'll say, to get to our upside-down horse, we come through the trees. Which brings us to the Lesson 12 quiz.
Let's go.
In this section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you, or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is
in front. Oh, this one was weird. This was like the blanking. Wow. It had the moon, the blade, and the horse legs, right? So it was the crowned horse, but basically the dead horse. Then it moon, and then the blade.
in front.
Yippee!
Next is big.
Big is just one, then person. Yep.
Just a few more.
Come was tree and the dead horse. This the dead Umamusume, and the rest of the tree.
Here's come.
Here's what? Sorry, that's a bad joke.
And then there's dog.
Dog is just big with a drop. Boop boop. Drop.
Finally, we have half.
Half was 10, right? It was the horse legs was 10 going through it. Okay, I did drop right. Okay.
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments.
Going half
you
the
can
whole
learn
thing.
the next 5 kanji by clicking here.
Clicking here.
Welcome to the 13th Tokini Andy
13th.
kanji lesson. Today we're going to cover the meaning, building blocks, writing, historical evolution where applicable, and a story to memorize each of the following kanji.
Wow.
We'll also learn the parts and radicals needed for those kanji. Today, there's only one new part, and stick around to the end of the lesson where we'll be doing a quick quiz to help everything stick. By the way, check the pinned comment below this video to see why we are not learning readings for each kanji just yet. Let's get into it. The kanji we'll be learning today are all fairly simple. This one is a pictograph that means river.
Yep.
The official radical of river is itself. River, which makes sense since it's often found in other kanji. We can break it down into a no part and 2 staff parts though. There are 3 strokes in river following exactly the order we'd expect. We draw the no part on the left,
It
and
do
then
be
the
a river.
middle vertical line somewhat shorter than the no. We then draw the staff on the right about the same length as the no part, though in some fonts and methods it's a little
bit
longer than both of the lines on the left. Historically, this hasn't changed a whole lot, though it used to have more bends and curves than it does today. It was supposed to represent 2 banks of a river with the water flowing down the middle. This was more clear in the oldest versions of the pictograph, though it's not hard to see now either. As a side note, this is sometimes written as what looks like 3 ku characters stuck together. To really solidify that no part here, we're going with the story, this is a river, with no pretending to be part of it over on the left bank. He's like curving his body to fit the bank of the river, trying to blend in for some reason. Maybe Fu is after him for a late rent payment or something. Remember that it's a good idea to pause the video after each.
Yes, we know.
You and every single for this lesson in some way. This is our first and only part for this lesson. It means basket. More specifically, a wastebasket. This
wastebasket,
is an official
trash.
radical, but is not a kanji on its own, so it does not have a radical. Hold on a second. Getting a phone call from the alien overlords that roamed ancient China. Hello? This is actually a kanji, and is its own radical.
Oh,
Whatever, man. The only word I could find with this in it is the word for this radical. We will never learn this as a kanji, though now you already have. We're going to consider wastebasket's only part. There are two strokes in basket. We start with the stroke on the left, which looks essentially like an L, though the bottom is longer
common L
in
streamer.
some cases to accommodate whatever you're planning to put inside of it. We then draw the final vertical line on the right, about the same length as the one on the left. Apparently, this is supposed to be a pictograph of a container with a crack on the side. Not sure where they're seeing the crack, unless they're talking about the fact that we can see inside of it from the side like this. Another explanation I read is that it's the pictograph of a wide open mouth, but this doesn't differentiate it enough from the kanji for mouth, so we're not using that. Our story is just a pictograph. It's a wastebasket. Do you have the time to listen to... Oh, no, wait, that's basket case. If you like simple stories, simply hit the like button. This next kanji is a beautiful pictograph of a mountain. Its official radical is mountain. And though it would be simple enough to use this as a singular pictograph, we're going to break it up into a staff and wastebasket to help us with the next kanji. It's perfectly acceptable to just consider this a single part, though, if you prefer. There are 3 strokes in mountain. We start with the middle and longest vertical stroke, and then draw the L shape of basket, though the vertical portion of this stroke is usually a bit shorter than the horizontal stroke. We then draw the final vertical stroke on the right that often cuts past the horizontal L stroke when written, though not in many computer fonts. Historically, this has always been a pictograph of mountain peaks, viewed from a distance. The story we used is really optional. You could easily stick with the pictograph, though you're going to be angry about the next kanji if you do. Mountains are wastebaskets for wise men's staves. Or staffs? Staves?
What the heck?
Of course, this also looks like a mountain. Imagine all the wise men going up into the mountains to become wise men. Realize the wise thing to do is just stay in the mountains, and their staves or staffs pile up over time.
Throw away their staffs.
These 2 mountains stacked on top of each other mean... Hello? Yes, ancient Chinese alien overlords? This isn't 2 mountains stacked up? It's not any mountains stacked up? That's it. I'm leaving.
Leave.
Alright, I guess I'm back. The official radical for this kanji is wastebasket.
Yep.
Nah, I'm leaving. Alright. The parts are a staff and 2 baskets. There are 5 strokes in
Yippee!
We start with the vertical staff. Wait, why? Don't vertical strokes that cut through other strokes come
last?
Fine, you know what? This kanji is just weird. Let's accept that, Andy. We then draw the wastebasket on top.
Oh, no.
L followed by vertical stroke. And the wastebasket below, slicing below the final L. Just like in mountain. Okay, so historically, I can see what happened here. It was originally a foot in a basket, or rather a foot leaving a basket or hole, apparently. I guess that somehow morphed over time into 2 mountains stacked on top of each other. I'm sorry, I'm never going to unsee that. Which is why
barking, chat.
mountain gets an honorary place in our story. To leave...
1 second, chat. Let me go deal with my dog. quick BRB chat? Hello, chat. My dog is still barking. I don't know why. He's barking at literally nothing.
Leave his
Unlucky.
mountain, the wise man shoved his wise man's staff through the ground and found only another wastebasket mountain beneath it. And this is why I did what I did for the mountain kanji. I'm glad that the kanji we're covering today at least look simple. Like this one, the companion to leave, which means entrance or
Entrance.
enter. The official radical of entrance is entrance.
Like
And it
backwards
is
no
its
and
only
no?
part, though I suppose you could argue for no and backwards no parts. You'll notice that this kanji looks very similar to person, which is
It
why the way
does.
you write each kanji is particularly important here. You'll remember that the second stroke in person starts from around the middle of the first stroke in writing, while the second stroke in entrance starts way above the first stroke and almost to the left a bit, and it's
Interesting.
swiped out to the right. In font, very often a horizontal line is drawn on top, which then cuts down 90 degrees.
Whoa.
This is really just to differentiate it from the font for person, and is not how it's actually written, though you certainly can write it that way if you like. It's similar to how the kanji for 8 looks in many fonts.
8.
You could really just take the 2 strokes in 8 and pull them together for both the written form and the font form. Historically, you could be forgiven for thinking this was a person kanji, but it was apparently a pictograph of an entrance. So for our story, I've also created a pictograph of an entrance. A pictograph of an entrance to the great halls of the wise men who left their mountains. If you'd like to go through that entrance, make sure to subscribe. It won't get you any closer to that goal, but it might help you learn some more Japanese. Thank heavens that all the kanji today have been fairly simple to write, and remember, this one means heaven.
Heaven.
I will keep doing that. The official radical for heaven is big. I almost would have expected it to be its own radical, but I'm not too disappointed. We can break it down into a 1 and big. There are 4 strokes following exactly that order. We draw the horizontal 1 on top, then the horizontal line in big. We then draw person inside there with the first curved line cutting through the horizontal line in big, and the final curved line starting below the big horizontal line. Okay, you know how I'm always joking about aliens in ancient China? Well, apparently this was a hieroglyphic that was supposed to emphasize the head of a human? Some descriptions suggest it was also illustrating the sky or heavens above that human's head. But I mean, come on, guys. Aliens? Am I right?
Oh, she's still
Or were
barking.
they suggesting that we get to create heaven in our heads? Let's see.
I might have to end stream chat.
Why do they never answer when I have questions? Our story is as follows.
What?
From big
All the
heavens,
ones.
which are just a single big thing, one big fluorescent worm
One big
fell.
fluorescent one.
Please share your own stories down in the comments, because it might help others more than this one did. Which brings us to the Lesson 13 quiz.
Alright, lesson 13.
In this section of the video, I'll show you a flashcard with the English meaning for a kanji. Pause the video when we show each card and try to remember how to write that kanji. Next, write it on your hand with your finger or on a piece of paper. Then press play and see if you were right. The best way to remember kanji you just learned is to search your memory for the story we taught you or the one you made based on the English word on the flashcard. Our first card is river.
River. Oh wait, I need to pause. It's literally just like the no and then 2 lines, 2 staffs.
Next is entrance.
Entrance is, it's like the opposite of person. It's just an entrance.
Just a few more. Here's leave.
To leave is the 1 line and then it's two trash bags, two trash bins.
And then there's heaven.
Heaven is 1 and then big, which is a line going through it, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Line, and then it's like a line going through the person. This big. Yeah.
Finally, we have mountain.
And then mountain is a staff, and then the garbage bin.
Let us know how many you got right down in the comments. You can learn the next 5
All right,
kanji by
chat.
clicking.
I think it's been about 2 hours. I think 2 hours of kanji learning is probably more than I can handle. I'll probably just review this stuff. But I gotta go. My dog is freaking out, and I want to see what she's freaking out about. So, quick stream, fast stream. Goodbye. Should I rate someone? Nah. Bye, chat.